Hey, here's your heads up to this longer podcast. I think you're going to enjoy it because it's all about seeing the world clearer, brighter, hearing the world clearer, crystal clear, and feeling more intense. Wonderful feelings more intensely. What am I talking about? Yeah, you know. You're going to have to listen after this. By the way, this is Paul Clough from Personal Development Unplugged, just trying to deconstruct the things that are made difficult by some people around this world and giving you the building blocks, the simple building blocks that really work to allow your personal development to, just explode into wonderful results with the least amount of effort. Have fun.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Do you ever think about, we're just going through the motions. We've got these plans, but they don't always work out. We've got this thing about self-sabotage and things like that, which I don't believe, but you've got procrastination. But and this is where I get my bit sometimes. My little admission to you is that, I have these thoughts and ideas and I like to think about things, but following through sometimes can be a bit of an issue. And it seems to be that it becomes the norm. A little bit like treading water, I guess, or walking through, I don't know, maybe not quite a fog, but a little mist. And you look back at the end of the day and you go, what have I done? What have I done? And sometimes you can, misremember if you can. And say, actually, when I think about it now, I have done quite a lot. It doesn't seem that much. But that's maybe not the most often, I guess. You see, I think sometimes we get lulled into this repetitive nature of day after day, especially in this sometimes a bit more weirdo type world. And it got me thinking because I know there are times in my life when things just seem to get really clear. And a couple of those times, I'll just share them with you. There was one time after I came back from my trainer's training, there was so much going through my head, in my mind. I was coming out of this dark place, I guess. But even so, it was still felt like, a little bit like quicksand, stamping and moving your feet further and faster, but still sinking a little bit. And I thought to myself, I've never been on a retreat, a real retreat. And I found a guy who was from my background, NLP and hypnosis, doing a wonderful retreat in a place called Glastonbury in the UK. And Glastonbury is it's a sort of spiritual place. It's got where all supposedly the ley lines come together. There's Tor Hill, and if you go through the little town centre, it is absolutely awesome. There's so many different bookshops and things like that, all to do with just personal development, things like that. And it's awesome. So I thought, that's it. Obviously the signs are there. I'm going to go to this retreat. And it's quite weird because people are saying, again, what are you doing this for? I just fancy it. I don't know. Because, as I said, Paul didn't travel, but he'd just come back from America, but he still didn't travel. Didn't feel like he travelled. And going to Glastonbury from Cambridge was a fair old trek, especially going to this. Found a bed and breakfast place there, which was really weird. Lady used to stay up at night at 4:00 in the morning to do her meditation so she could protect the world for us. That was her calling. But she did lovely breakfast, though. Lovely breakfast. Bless her, she was a lovely girl. Well, a lovely lady. But it was such a spiritual place to be. Or just a nice, chilling, good feeling place. Not only spiritual, but just a good feeling place. And so I went along, not travelling well. And I went through this, and it's just a nice experience. And there were some couples there, a couple of people by themselves like me. And we just did our own thing while we were in this retreat. We would talk about stuff and different exercise, but each exercise you could apply to yourself, obviously. And you took your own things. And it was really quite weird because we would sort of meditate, but it was more hypnosis, I think. But a little bit of meditation, hypnosis every day after a particular topic. And you'd go so deep because just the mere fact that you'd gone to retreat, you'd set your intention. I didn't think about it then, but the intention was set. I knew what I wanted. I wanted to find some more steps, some strategies, and let go of some stuff. And you just go really deep. Then when you'd open your eyes, things would be really clear. And this is where this comes from. It's like being awake, suddenly coming awake, even though I hadn't been asleep. So I'm waking up during my waking up days, or hours, minutes, life. And everything seems so clear. And so that tends to be one of the things you get when you go into deep hypnosis. When you open your eyes, everything just seems so bright. Now, some people say, well, you've had your eyes closed for such a long time. But it's different to that. There's a feeling that goes with it. So where are you going with this, Cluffy? Well, what I'm trying to say is we all need to be awake. Because going through the day-by-day stuff, we've got these wonderful goals. I know you, personally, have got goals and personal development in mind to improve yourself. With that selfless service, I'm sure. But sometimes do you not feel that we need to waken up? I know we do. Because I know we're sometimes like, not asleep, but like just slumbering, maybe a little daydreamy type thing. And you see, another time, I took that a little bit further, or into another direction, when I wasn't quite so lazy. Because I thought it's not lazy, but putting yourself into somebody else's hands to do their exercises and things like that. But I used to have a narrowboat. So instead of going out on the narrowboat, what I would do is I'd just say to everybody, I'm going to the narrowboat for 2 or 3 days by myself. And it was quite weird because I'd go and sit in the narrowboat and do my personal work. I'd have an agenda. I'd have exercises in mind. Obviously, being this little therapist that I am, I've got various processes and protocols that I know work for particular emotions or beliefs or exploration. And I'd go through the next 3 days, maybe just going for walks. That was another way of waking up and letting things integrate. So I would do some work, then go for a walk, and then come back and do some more work, and then just rest and read and just really go through this lovely 3 days just by myself. And it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I could do hypnosis with myself. I could read a process and go through it. I could listen to different processes on my iPods and things like that. And again, every day, it would be like a series of waking up. But I think what I failed to do, and I'm thinking back now, is it gives you a great momentum because you're awake. You see the world differently. You feel differently. And you take that a little bit maybe for granted, and you don't use that as your state now to move on. This is where we're going to go with this. And then there's a different way I did it. So I really enjoyed that. And then there's a lovely way. My eldest son, Daniel, said to me one day, hey, Dad, do you fancy booking and renting a barn? Like one of these converted barns? Converted barn, it's not like a farm and things like that. It's a really nice place. And we'll just book it for, say, 2 days, 3 days. And mornings and afternoons we'll have our own time. And then maybe at lunchtime we'll get together. And in the evenings we'll get together. And we'll talk and do things. And I thought, what a wonderful thing to do. Because not only did I get that waking up process, but I got to wake up with him. We don't know that. Wake up to talk to Daniel and talk to him when he's waking up, because he would do his own personal work. And then we'd wander around in the evenings and things like that. And that was another magical way of a personal retreat. So you now got one in, I won't say it's lazy, but going to put yourself in somebody else's hands, then putting yourself in your own hands in isolation, as it were, and then doing it with somebody else. But each one of them was, I would do each one again. But I think I need to think about what happens after. Because one of the things that I'm thinking, you see, and where this all came from is, if you really want to achieve the goals, first of all, we have to admit that we haven't achieved them. And if we haven't achieved them yet, what is the one thing that we need to do? And one of those things is this metaphorical waking up. waking up and being ourselves again. Because we're probably not as awake as we think. Well, I know we're not. Because when you do this little bit of isolation work, retreat work, or do it with somebody else, you do see the world differently. It's like, I don't know if you ever worn glasses and they like steam up occasionally and you're seeing the world. Well, you know the world's out there, but it's a bit hazy. And then maybe a windscreen of a car is the same type of thing when they all fog over. And then bit by bit, it begins to unmist, become clearer. It all becomes clear. And that's what I think this process, or what I'm thinking of, really begins to get us to move on. And maybe just the thing that we all need, just to, first of all, it's a bit like a spring clean, I guess. And the spring clean is wonderful. We always say when we teach our NLP and timeline therapy, is that in timeline therapy, it's a great set of processes for letting go of negative emotions and limiting beliefs. Well, go through those processes yourself as a practitioner at least once a year to clean yourself, as it were. Not cleansing, but letting go of any negative emotions that you've picked up through the year and any limiting beliefs that have maybe developed or were still there. And that makes you feel good. And I'm thinking, well, that's great advice. And the other thing that really put me onto this was I was listening to a podcast by Jordan Peterson. Great guy, really intelligent guy, lovely, eloquent guy in his conversation and communication. He was talking about waking up. I'd also heard it with Tim Ferriss, a great podcaster. And I got a friend called Tim Freak, I've told you about before. He's written a wonderful book all about, is this a dream? Are you in a dream? And will you wake up from this dream? And when you wake up, and he says it, I've got the audio version, and he goes, wake up, wake up, wake up. And are you the dreamer that's dreaming? And if you're the dreamer that's dreaming this dream, when will you wake up? And all of this seems to come together, for me anyway. You know, we're in great company, because I'm sure there's so many different people. I know Tim Ferriss interviews so many different people, and they're all sharing how they've woken up. So we're in great company. And I think, what does waking up do, though? Here's the thing. What does waking up do? And I think it changes our filters. So we can literally see, hear, and feel the world differently. Because the NLP communication model works on the principle that things are happening on the outside. And for us to take them on in the inside, we have a set of filters. And those filters are our beliefs, our values, our experiences, our attitudes, our personal profiles, as they were. And we also distort, delete, and generalize in those filters as well to try to make sense of the whole world. Well, if we let go of some limiting beliefs, if we let go of some negative emotions, if we start to notice our values, clean our values, start to understand our values, all the things that you would do when you're in one of these retreats, then you're changing your filters. And when you change the filters, the world literally looks, sounds, and feels differently. And when you're in that state, I think that's the time to start planning how you're going to achieve those goals, because you are now free. A lot of people will say, I feel lighter. Well, you are, because you're not carrying all those negative emotions which take energy away from you. Being depressed, not to say depressed, but sad or down. Jesus, it's really hard. It's tiring to do that bloody stuff. When you think about it, when you've been down, how tired have you been at the end of the day? And you haven't done anything, you've just been sad and down. But when you've been doing things that have really made you sing and feel so good, at the end of the day, you're exhilarated, you're feeling absolutely wonderful. And that's what I think clearing and changing our filters does. It allows us to see the world differently, to come out of that dream, as it were, and dream big dreams. And then maybe come out of that dream and dream even bigger dreams. So that's why I'm just suggesting, just a suggestion, that I think you need a retreat. I need a retreat. Everybody needs a retreat of some kind. But you're going to say to me, oh, well, I can't go away. Because, you see, I'm hoping one day, my son Joseph, who now lives in the USA, he and I will do a retreat in the USA, sharing what we know. Now that would be awesome. So going to a retreat with somebody else, doesn't have to be us obviously. That's one thing. If you've got a mind to do it and you can schedule it and get the right times for yourself and have, I'll obviously say that, get your right intention in your state before you go, plan, because we always say, even when people come to our trainings, before you come on the training, I want to know what you want out of that training. What is your goal? What is your outcome in mind for just come to a practitioner training? Because it isn't just to be certified as a practitioner of NLP, hypnosis, or timeline therapy. There's a goal for that goal. So you set your intention. We're going to set your intention to every one of these different examples I'm going to give you. So you could give yourself over to somebody and let them guide you. And that can be really good because obviously, provided they're the right type of person, like I chose this guy because I just knew his background, that if you had a little wobble, because I must admit on that retreat I went to, one couple did have a bit of a wobble and they needed some help. So while we were doing our other bit, he was helping them get over their wobble. And that's what happens sometimes on the trainings we have and things like that, which is no issue. We just get it done. So if you want to do that and you want someone around you, what a wonderful thing to do. Or, like the boat, can you find a place where you can just be by yourself, that you could plan maybe the type of things you want to do? So maybe you want to go through emotions that you want to explore and let go of. So you could go through things like, well, what hypnosis tracks would help me? Now, I'm not just saying the ones here, I am, but but we've got all the hypnosis tracks or podcasts here. You could pick one or two, download them, get them ready, set them in a diary. I know there's so many different places you can find the same type of stuff. Maybe there's a book, there's a portion of a book that you just know will lead you through a great exercise. I've got loads and I follow those through. I used to take them with me and just have them marked out. And I'm going to go through that exercise as I'm reading it because it just works. Now, maybe you can't do that, but could you with a like-minded friend? And I think this is a lovely thing to do. A like-minded friend that you find some days that you can go away together. And don't just plan it for a weekend. Maybe, because that's when everyone needs to go out. What about midweek? When it's all a little bit quieter maybe. Maybe you can find a place where there's some wonderful walks, maybe a lake and the sea. And so you can have, because nature around us is, well, that awakens our senses as well, doesn't it? The fresh air. And then work separately and then come together and maybe do one or two exercises together. Compare notes, as it were. Because, again, it's that integrated field of learning, isn't it? The two of you there, this is my experience. I did this. Well, this is my experience of that as well. And they're slightly different. Oh, that's different. Maybe I'll do it differently next time. So many things that I think that you will begin to say, well, I am waking up. And this is something I want to do more often. And even, I do suggest that you do one of these a year. But also, what about just putting maybe half a day aside once a month where you could be by yourself and just do what you want to do with an aim in mind for your personal development to clear your goals. A bit like I used to do on my birthday. I'd go out in the morning with my book, with my dog Howie. We'd go and sit by the River Cam in Grantchester, just outside Cambridge in the UK. And I'd just reflect over maybe the year or the significant things that have happened to me. And also begin to plan that waking up. Because that's awesome too. Because there's one thing in The Artist's Way. This is a wonderful book about journaling and getting, reviving yourself. And again, it's waking up again. Is treating yourself to some time by yourself. You don't bring anyone along to do the things you really want. And that's great. But I'm talking about just changing that slightly and going, hey, let's do this for ourselves. I'm going to go away for half a day. I'm going to drive to a lovely place, as long as it's safe, obviously, a nice park with a river. And I'm going to take some sandwiches. Or maybe you treat yourself and have a lovely lunch together by yourself, if that makes sense. You know what I'm talking about. Unconscious, conscious. And plan it. Because there's only really a couple of things you have to do when you decide. When you decide, that's committing, isn't it? This is what I'm going to do. So you just commit. I'm going to ink this in. You have to schedule it, don't you? So you schedule. This is when I'm going to do it. Then obviously, plan. Have a plan in mind. I'm one of the world's worst in having a plan. I love to go, oh, it'll be all right. I know we'll find something to do. And sometimes we don't. But this is more important than that. You're telling your unconscious mind, we're here for a reason. We're going to do this for a reason. So buckle up, buddy. I do say things like that to my unconscious mind. Hey, buddy, let's get going. So you have that plan. You know exactly what you want to do. You've got it laid out. You've got your bag. You've got your computer if you need it, but don't, obviously not for emails and phone and things like that, because this is just for you. It's without emails, without all that social media stuff. So you're not suddenly taking photographs and, hey, look at me. No, you're doing your work. This is private, I believe anyway. And you plan it out. You make sure you've got that book all sorted out. Because no last minute, oh, I don't know what paragraph. No, you've got everything sorted out. This is the process. I had processes and I even thought before I went, when I did my personal stuff, the type of processes I might do, the type of thoughts I might do. I'd have a slight plan of, okay, the first hour is just going to be going inside and listening and talking to myself to get more clarity on, I know this is the emotion I'm thinking of working. Is there a better one? Because you start asking yourself great questions. So you may have, as I always suggest, have those great questions written out beforehand. You got your little cards. I've got them here. Or you got your question book, your book of wonderful questions. So you're all ready. You don't have to think of anything. You're literally putting yourself in your own hands. And then when the time comes, you've committed, you've scheduled, you've planned it. All you have to do is restate your intention. I do believe you need to restate your intention. Let's get it clear. And what is the best state? And I think my advice is that you're going to reset your intention and state. So the intention and state is a general thing for the particular time you're away. But each individual process or each individual part of your timetable, as it were, you need to state your like mini intention and think, what would be the best state for me for this section of this private waking up work that I'm doing? Because each one will be different. Some will be curiosity. Some may be letting go. Some may be just connection. Some may be exploring. I don't know. There's lots of different states that you can look for, and they're going to be individual to do it, or they could be more than one and put together. So you're in a particular state, like a recipe of states for these mini steps. And then you go away. You do this. You enjoy it. Plan to enjoy. One of the biggest questions, how much fun can I have doing this work on myself? How much fun can I have waking up? Get that book of questions. That's what you start off with. How much fun can I have finding release of this negative emotion of, say, anger? What would it be like to let go of anger in the next half hour and feel so awake doing so? Woo! Wonderful question. So take time to do that and do the work. Now, once you've done the work, I do suggest, as you're in that really waking up state, before you come back to, all your other responsibilities, maybe make a plan of the things that are inspiring you, that intuitively are coming to you, the ideas you have. Write them in that book again, so you know you're going to be working on this. Have a little plan. So even if it's only, here's the things I want to work out, and on Sunday I'm going to start planning that with this wonderful state inside me. But if you can, do it quicker, as quick as you can, with that feeling of being awake. And then review. Review how did it go? What could you improve on? How could you make it even more deeper, more intense, better, more fun, more comfortable? How could you learn more? How could you remember it more? All these, again, lovely questions. So you're just going to spend maybe an hour reviewing the whole time you've been away, and then plan to do it again. It's like wash, rinse and repeat, isn't it? With a little bit of drying in the middle. And I think when you do that, you will be waking up out of the dream, and then you'll be waking out of another dream. Things will be lighter, literally you will feel lighter. Things will seem brighter. Sounds will seem so much more crystal clear, and feelings will feel so much more wonderful. And I think it's just a lovely thing to do. I think it's a lovely treat that you can treat yourself to. Treat yourself with a wonderful present of being present with yourself, your best friend, your unconscious mind, and saying to yourself, wakey, wakey. Now let's get living this life as awake as I can. And then I plan to wake up even more and do more and just enjoy, really plan on having fun, as it were. Have fun. Wake up and just enjoy yourself. And I think you'll find when you do all of this, as I always say, you just seem to get more lucky. You seem to have clearer thoughts. Your plans seem to come together. Synchronicity just comes and bites you on the bum, and you go, wow, this is so good. And your plans grow. You achieve them. I say that again. You achieve your plans, your dreams, your goals quicker than you thought possible. And they're better than you thought possible. We always say this or something better. Because that's the other thing about this. I just remember. Oh, so I say it again. Somebody saying it again, Cluffy. When you do this work, it's not all about just clearing out, but also work on what do you need for the goals in the future. What type of emotions, what type of behaviors, what type of skills, what type of things would spur you on? What are your values? The most important thing to you. So plan that to have, clearing out the past, looking at the now, and getting ready for the future. Make it so holistic that you are doing things so wonderfully well for you in the past, which is not, that's gone, the present, which is now, and the future, which is the now going through to the past. And have those glasses never steam up again. You got to do this, haven't you? We can always be a little bit more awake. I hope you enjoyed that little ramble of mine. I enjoyed going through it because I obviously have notes, but the notes didn't reflect everything I've talked about, because things come to you as you think of these things. My best friend inside is saying, what about this? What about this? And as I'm talking to you and thinking about it, I'm thinking about my own plans, my own things that I want to do. And I start to wonder what new intuitions, what new ideas I'll get as I think about and actually do this stuff. I would love to know a couple of things. What you thought about this. Did it inspire you? Or was it just, nah? And I'd also like to know, when you do your retreat, whether it's just for half a day, whether it's a couple of days, whether it's 2 or 3, or going away to an organised retreat, I'd love to know how you woke up. What did it feel like when you woke up? Because if we can share that feeling with other people, we can inspire them to do the same thing. So what was the result of that feeling of waking up? What did you do differently? How did you feel different? How were you? Be different. Love to know that. How do you do that? How do you tell me? Well, it's that same old email, feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. It's a private personal email. It doesn't go anywhere other than me. And you'll get your reply, as the people who do email me have found out. So do have more fun than you can stand. And always, as always, what's the price of this podcast? Well, if you've got a golden nugget, please let me know. But also share these golden nuggets. Share this podcast with as many people as you can. Obviously, the more people that listen, we're going to make a difference to the world. The more people that subscribe to this, it means then people like Apple and iTunes or whatever it is, Castbox, will push this a little bit to a wider audience, which means they'll make a difference. And hopefully they'll inspire us to do more with you and us and them. So do please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And subscribe on whatever platform you listen to this on. And just enjoy. If you want to leave a comment, please do. A nice review would be nice. But all of that, or more than all of that, please do in such a respectful way. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Now, we all know stress is not good for us. Well, too much stress is really bad. and it just builds up and builds up. What would it be like if you could really deeply relax? Really relax. Not just relax your muscles, but your mind, everything about you, just deeply relaxed through hypnosis. You see, what I've got is, I'll tell you what I haven't got. I haven't got a guided meditation that goes down to the riverbank and makes you feel relaxed for the moment. But what I have got are 2 tracks. One, a longer track, which guides your unconscious mind into deep relaxation, to relax and be comfortable in the mind and the body, every muscle, every fiber of you, just deeply relaxing, so you can learn at the unconscious level how to relax. And then a slightly shorter length hypnosis track to allow you to go into deep relaxation instantly and be there for just say 5 minutes. So in between meetings or whenever you just want to relax so quickly, so easily, you can just go there for 5 minutes. And then in between, you can use a longer track to have that longer experience, each time building up this skill of deep relaxation. How do you get it? Well, basically, you just go to paulcloughonline.com/relax. There you go. 2 programs. Go and have a look. Give you a little video about it as well. Have a little listen. What would happen if it didn't work? Well, if it didn't work, there's a money-back guarantee. So you have got nothing to lose. But what would happen and you got supersonically good at relaxing? Wouldn't that be awesome? Teach your body how to just relax and your mind to just relax. Just enjoy. Go to paulcloughonline.com/relax and check it out. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this episode and all the other episodes of Personal Development Unplugged. If you're new to this, please do subscribe, and on the website personaldevelopmentunplugged.com, if you go /subscribe, there'll be some information there how to subscribe easily and effortlessly. But one of the things you can just do is whatever platform you listen to, maybe it's iTunes, Google Player, Castbox is a great one. If you search, Spotify, by the way, is another great one. If you search my name, Paul Clough, or the Personal Development Unplugged podcast, as you see it, click on the icon. They'll open up with all the episodes, and you'll also find a thing to say either subscribe or follow. Click on that, and it'll come on your device every week. There'll be a new episode, sometimes twice a week. Generally, it's twice a week. Do that, and then please share. Because if you got something out of this, why would you keep it to yourself? I know I wouldn't. I'd like to share it with my friends, because that's what good friends do. And if we're good friends, why don't we share it not with each other, because that would be silly, because you and I know it, but share it with our friends, everyone you can think of. So if you could share this podcast, the Personal Development Unplugged podcast, it'll make this community grow, and it will affect the things that go around us. It will affect the people, because it's the intention here is to share good stuff. There's a technical NLP hypnosis term. Good stuff. There will be hypnosis, there'll be NLP programs, protocols, there'll be all different things, all to help you with various issues. And even if they're not issues, they don't have to be issues. They're things that you want to do in the future, setting your goals, all the things you want to dream about. It's all here. So please do share it with everyone you can think of, even your best friend. And if you would, any feedback you have, good, bad, or indifferent, please email me. It's feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. Only goes to me, doesn't go on a list. Don't worry about anything like that. You get a personal reply. But I'd like to know what you like to listen to, what the issues you have that you'd like something to help you with, or even just a friend for just asking for a friend. Do that, and I will create an episode around that issue, that thing that you want to solve and resolve, because we can do that. And it's great fun for me to set me on my way to try to find those new, wonderful, different things that we could do, even if it's just a straightforward hypnosis process. And those hypnosis processes, where do you get them? Well, just go to paulcloughonline.com/podcast. Easy as that. And you'll have 47 plus hypnosis tracks to listen to. Anyway, that's a long enough outro. Please just have more fun than you can stand, and just please do just do everything I've just asked for. That would be awesome.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.